Welcome to My Watches with Ben. Today's video is the third in a 5-video series on the wristwatch type of GADA watch. Go anywhere, do anything. The full video series will culminate in the 5th video, which I'll live stream, with my top 10 out of 374 GADA watches that exist on the market. The individual videos will be released once a week, with the final video live streamed on July 17th at 8 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. In this particular video today, I'm just looking at the premium price range, $850 up to $2,500. You'll see watches like the Frédéric Constant, the Main, Oris Big Crown Pointer Date, the Sinn 556. You'll see Ball, you'll see Longines, you'll see Circula Facet, that's an interesting watch, Christopher Ward. The methodology I use to score the watches is in that first video, so check that out if you're interested. If you want to know how I did all this, how I came up with the scoring system, I go into it really in depth. I also talk about the philosophy of the GADA watch, stuff like that. And it is important. I just didn't want to repeat it in every video in the series. And there's a playlist for the series as well. This is a good time to mention, if you're short on time, I would go ahead and skip to that top 5 at the end using timestamps that I put in the description. And now I'll show you the overview. All right, in this premium category, here's a graph that shows how all the scores shook out. As we go up in price, there's fewer bad grades. The grades are getting better as the price goes up. Kind of makes sense. In this video, 36% of the premium GADA watches are good, 43 are okay, and then 21% are not recommended, not passing. Some of those you can like change out the strap or something. Just out of the box, they're not recommended. And here are all those watches for your viewing pleasure with my face covering the top 5. Now I'm going to go through all those 96 watches, starting with number 6, going all the way through 96, and then at the end I'll show you the top 10. All right, so let's start with watch number 6. 6th place is the Christopher Ward C63 Sealander GMT, $1,275. 39 millimeters, great size, 11.9. Great size. The Christopher Ward is extremely popular for a reason. They make very wearable watches that are cool and unique and have high quality and really don't cost as much as you'd think they would. And I love their dagger hour hand. I'm just a big fan of that. I think it looks so cool. I'm not so big of a fan of the bright orange with this green. The white one looks so cool. The white one is the one to get. In fact, I should have used that for all my grading. This one is a wild card at the end, and yeah, I used the green one for that. It does have a dual time hand. It's looking very fieldy with this green one. That's probably why I chose it, because it's a balance of semi-formal and casual and all that stuff. The continuum of formality. It works on the hike. It definitely works on the hike. The lume looks fantastic. I even like the trident on the second hand. That looks cool. I think it's suitable for your classy events too, especially the white one or the black one. Green one's a little bit more if you want to lean more on the casual side. Great option of a watch. I love the 6 o'clock date. It's balanced. It's a good looking watch. Score of 87. 7th place is the Christopher Ward The 12, $1,895, 40 millimeters across, 9 millimeters thick. What? I actually didn't realize that until just now when I went through this. I mean, that explains a lot of the popularity. Integrated bracelet. Major downside for GADA is you can't really dress it down very well. You can put it on a silicone strap, and they sell those. You're very limited with the strap options with these kind of reverse lug deals. That dresses it down a bit. It's still very fancy. Lume looks good on this. No second lume, though. Crown guards are cool. It's smooth in the real photo. It had a white background that I removed, and I didn't do it very well, so sorry about the rough edges here. The watch itself does not have rough edges. Yeah, it's a cool one, and it got very high score. I think there are better options for the GADA context, so this is not in the end. Score 87. Next is the Longines Conquest 38. $2,200, 38 millimeters, 10.9. It's a wild card. This one is so cool. I really like the Longines Conquest. It's an interesting look. It's looking a little beefier than some other watches. Look at how slender these lugs are on the ball. And then you look at the Longines. These are chunky lugs. I like them. Loom is very poor on this, though. That is a major downside to the Conquest. It does look suitable on some kind of brown nylon strap or whatever. Suitable for hiking. Not the best. Of course not the best. But it can do double duty, in my opinion. It's good GADA watch. Score of 86. Ninth place, the Formex Essence 39. $1,840. 10 millimeters thick. 39, like I said. Cool Allen screws on holding their bezel on so it doesn't pop off, apparently. Now, the dial's really cool. I like these horizontal lines there. I like the beveled cuts on the date window. That's a cool look. Their logo's really cool. Loom is poor on this one. Looks a little bit industrial. Still not really getting the field vibe. It does have a chronometer, so that's really nice. These are expensive, though. Formex watches are expensive. You're paying for this Swiss made here on the dial. Score 86. Here's a beauty. The Nodus Canyon in 10th place. $1,199. So towards the bottom of the price range. 41 across, 11.5 thick. I love the gold on the green. That looks so cool. The blue Nodus looks really good too. 200 meters water resistance. The crown is looking very rugged. The strap is looking kind of fancy. They're putting it all together. This is what a GADA watch should be. It's getting it all. You can dress it down for the field. Loom looks decent. You do get second loom, so that's nice. Score of 86. 11th is the Ball Engineer Master 2 Doolittle Raiders. Almost $2,000. 40 millimeters across, 13.6. The little, I'm so juvenile, I can't even call this what I want to call it. The little bump on the end of the crown looks really cool. It's a really interesting crown. It's probably going to dig into your hand. Anytime I have a large crown, it always bothers me, so that would bother me. And it doesn't really match. Whoever the Doolittle Raiders are, they're clearly some kind of military thing. I don't see why they would want such a fancy crown. Otherwise, I get it. It makes sense, except maybe for the crown. I mean, the crown's the coolest thing on it, but it doesn't totally fit. Looking kind of like a date chest. That's okay. Ball has their own look for these things. The loom is really cool. It's rainbow loom. You don't have to get rainbow loom. You can get different. But the gray tritium is really interesting. I've never seen gray before. So you get gray indexes here. It's weird they didn't do a different color for the seconds, though. It looks totally at home on a field strap. That's what Ball is so good at. They make a watch that you can wear to a wedding and wear on your hike. They are the masters of the GADA. Well, one of the masters. There's a lot of good GADA watch makers, but Ball is definitely one of them. This one does have a Faraday cage, and it has an anti-shock system to protect the automatic Swiss movement. That is awesome. Very robust. Total score of 85. 12th is the Formex Field Watch. $995, 41 across, 10.6. It says field on it, and it's looking like a field watch. Not really getting the GADA thing so well. Very low everyday looks, in my opinion, for this. It's got a strong field vibe, very strong field vibe. This leather strap really limits your options. Fortunately, Formex provides a strap that really fits the field a little better than the brown leather. I mean, brown leather is good for the field too, but the brown leather is not as good for GADA. So you might be doing silicone strap if you want to dress this up. Because it's titanium, I didn't mention that. You can tell from the dull color of the metal, so it's going to be hard to match a bracelet to this thing. Nice color match date. Total score of 85. 13th place is the Seiko Alpinist GMT SPB 377. $1,150, 39.5 across, 13.6 thick. I do like the GMT version of this. I really do like how this looks. You lose some of the classiness of the regular Alpinist. The strap does not look good. Blue leather always is kind of weird. I've got a strap with blue leather, and it starts to peel off the outer coating, and then you just see the tan underneath. So blue leather seems like a good idea, but you kind of have to baby it so it doesn't look ugly. This is totally going to look at home on a field type strap. I have it here on a black canvas. You can do all kinds of other colors too, I'm sure. Loom is poor on this. I don't think that's particularly great, although you do get second loom, so that's nice. I don't know why you really need the dual time hand, but it's there in the dark if you can remember where all these 24-hour markings are. The red is a little bit intense, and it's kind of a cherry red. I'd prefer if that was a little bit more subdued. Total score of 85. 14th place is the Frederic Constant High Life. $2,316, 39 across, 10.4. I really like how this looks for like a business setting, for a semi-formal setting. It looks so nice. I love these polished middle links. It's a really cool looking watch. So I've chosen it as a wild card. It doesn't really do the field thing, and you're limited with strap swaps. You can't really swap the straps so well. From Frederic Constant, you can get leather straps. You can also get whatever this is. You can get one of those, some kind of silicone or something. Lume is not particularly great on it, so there's limitations. But you do get a chronometer with this. Yeah, it's going to be like a butterfly clasp bracelet, which is okay. I'm willing to do butterfly clasps sometimes. It's just nicer to have an adjustment system, on the fly adjustment. Score of 84. All right, and here's the Oris Big Crown Pointer Date. This is the newer version. It lost a lot of its character when they changed the design. I know they were trying to freshen it up, and it does look fresh. It doesn't really look like a Big Crown Pointer Date, though. I do like the baby blue for the date here. That looks really cool. You don't see a pointer date complication very often at all, so that's cool. If you just are complication hunting, I mean, it's a classic watch. It deserves its place in the watch world. I wonder which is the best-selling Oris. This one's got to be up there. Lume looks decent on it. The numbers look a little bit weak, but I like that they lume the numbers. It doesn't really work in a field context. I think that's a weakness of it. I showed on a ton of colors. The newer version is not available on all these colors. So this is like the older version. You can find black. It only has 50 meters water resistance. That's also a downside. Total score of 84. 16th place is the Longines Max Bill Mega Solar. I chose this one over the regular Max Bill because it scored a little better. $1,352, 38 millimeters across, only 9 thick. It's going to look so classy. The gray leather strap is really versatile. You can wear it with your brown shoes and your black shoes. I love to see that. That's fantastic. I've been searching for good gray leather straps for dress watches for that exact purpose, and they're very hard to find. So it's really cool you get a high quality gray leather strap with this. I like the black hands. Lume is poor. You only get quadrants. It sort of works on like a parachute elastic. It doesn't give you hiking vibes though. This one is also an atomic quartz. You can't really tell from anything on the dial, but it does sync up with the radio signal to give you atomic quartz timekeeping, which is awesome. I have a few watches with that, and it's so nice. It's really nice. Citizen Skyhawk, the Casio PRW35Y. It's so cool to have that atomic quartz timekeeping. And the case is titanium. So this is a standout from Longines. If you really like this Max Bill design, I would go for the Max Bill Mega Solar. It says mega, but it's only 38 millimeters. It's not huge by any means. It's a good one. Score of 84. 17th place is the Monta Triumph. 17th place and $1,700. Only 39. It looks big for some reason. 9.7 thick. Yeah, these lugs are big, and the hands. It looks substantial. It's odd that the numbers are different sizes. I don't think I like that. It is symmetrical though. I do like the symmetry here. The balance, that's nice. Minimal text, that is appreciated. Would have been nice if the date was color matched. Lume looks good on this. And you can dress it down. You can put it on a NATO strap. That looks pretty cool. Total score of 84. 18th place is the Circular Facet. When I first saw this thing, I thought that is the coolest darn watch I've ever seen. I kind of changed my mind as I looked at it more, because this is weird. This is really weird here, how they, it's nice that you can change the strap, so it sort of has an integrated look. You kind of lose the appeal of the integrated bracelet, and then it looks weird too on top of it. So, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about what they did with the bracelet here. I really love the circular brick pattern in the middle, and just how shiny it is. It's so beautiful. The dial is exquisite, and they color match the date. Circular makes great watches. I'm a huge fan of what they do. This is a wild card. We'll see it in the final runoff. It does sort of work on a more casual strap. It looks better on the bracelet though. The lume is good on this. You can get lume opposite the date window. Get a little bit of crown protection here. Recessed crown, I think is what I call it. It's not on the scorecard, but... And I found out I'm like mostly German, so it's cool that it's made in Germany. Total score of 83. In 19th place is the Jack Mason Canton. $1,299. 39, another 39. We got great sizes in this video. 10.8 thick. So yeah, it's awesome. I love to see sub 11 thickness. It just feels good when you have a watch that's sub... I mean, 10 feels great. 10.8 still probably feels great. And I think somebody just commented that Jack Mason is a Texas company. So the red, white, and blue indicates their love of America. That's sweet. This color's called agave. That's also, you know, Texas inspired. That's very cool. 68-hour power reserve is cool on the movement. They have an extension on the bracelet. The lume looks really good on this. It looks good on a field type strap. Some kind of pass through is fine for hiking. I think this really does it well. This is a good GADA watch for sure, and it'll be a wild card in the final runoff. Yeah, Jack Mason does cool things too. Total score of 83. 20th place is the Manta Atlas. Looking similar to the Manta Triumph. This is the GMT version. It's pretty much the same. I'm seeing them on the same screen. Yeah, see, they're pretty darn similar. This one's thicker though. The GMT movement is probably thicker than the other one. Lume looks about the same as that other one too. This colorway doesn't really make a ton of sense on a tan strap, but I suppose you could if you wanted to. I'd probably keep it on the bracelet, especially since it has an extension. Total score of 83. In 21st place is the Brellam Wyvern, $2,400, 42 and 11 thick. Push-pull crown, not ideal. There's a lot of busyness to the dial. I don't care for that very much. Yeah, getting right up to the top of the price range for premium. Almost to luxury, at least how I've defined it in this video. The categories, you know, it's very video dependent. I try to just do equal numbers in each category. That dual time hand gets a couple points. It is a chronometer, and they show it on this alternate strap option you can get from Brellam. I don't think the lume is very good. It's kind of hard to tell. Score of 83. 22nd is the Ocean Crawler Field Crawler. $899, 40 millimeters, 12.6 thick. Clearly taking inspiration from the Rolex Explorer. A few different hands here. It has 400 meters water resistance. Ocean Crawler makes dive watches. This is their field crawler watch. Yeah, 400 is a lot. That's more than you need for a field watch usually. It is more of like a traditional field watch, but then, yeah, you only have the 3 and the 9. It doesn't totally know what it wants to be. Lume looks decent on this. Looks like there's a blue pip on the second. That's pretty cool. If you put it on a steel mesh, you can dress it up a bit. Total score of 83. 23rd is the Tissot Gentleman. $875. 40 millimeters by 11.5. Yeah, silicone balance spring. That's cool. Great protection against magnetism. This is a solid choice. It just doesn't call out to me. It's just kind of bland. I have a fondness for this, but it's also really plain. So it doesn't speak to me very much. I'd get the appeal because it has solid specs and everything. Well, the lume is not great. Lume is bad. It looks okay on this. It is really more semi-formal. It's not really getting the casual thing. Even if you try to put it on another strap, it still doesn't look very casual with the mirror bezel and, you know, everything so fancy on the dial. But it's an option. It's a GADA option for sure. Score of 82. In 24th place is the Grand Seiko SBGX 261, $2,300, 37 and 10 millimeters. I'm sure I missed some cool Grand Seikos. I'm really not very familiar with their product line, so I just kind of pulled a few that I thought were good. This is one of the ones I thought, well, that looks like a GADA watch, so I included it. These are these Dauphine hands? I think they are. It's a little fancy. The lume is kind of weak on this. You can dress it down a little bit, but it still kind of looks formal. I think the Rolex Datejust is less formal than this Grand Seiko. Oh, this is a quartz, just a straight up quartz. Total score of 82. 25th is the Heinrich Helicoprion. $952, 40 millimeters, 12.8 thick. On the thicker side, it does have a really cool stone dial. I like all these screws around the outside, and they lined them up. That looks good. It's looking tooly, but it's also looking sophisticated. So those are the two great tastes that should go great together for a GADA watch. It's very robust, 200 meters water resistance. Beads of rice bracelet looks cool. It has an extension apparently. Lumen's looking good. You can dress it down to be even more utilitarian. Yeah, this is a cool one. It's definitely one worth looking at. But it does have these loud colors. If it was black, I think it'd be more versatile, or maybe a dark gray or something. It's going to limit your options with this loud color. That's the main thing. Score of 82. 26th is the Nomadic Turos 914. $1,265, 39 millimeters, 11 thick. The numbers look really cool, and they're in kind of a computery font. It's regular steel. It's not 904, even though it says 914. That threw me off. It'll look okay on a more fieldy strap. I think this is a good GADA option. There is no date complication though, so keep that in mind. Score of 82. 27th, the Hamilton Murph. This is a cool watch. I like the Hamilton Murph. It's interesting. It's sophisticated, but it's also kind of military-esque. Hamilton is good at doing that. You know, it's like an everyday watch. And GADA watch and everyday watch are similar ideas. It's not really all that formal, but the cathedral hands elevate it. That's some sophistication. Then these Arabics here kind of make it more military looking. I think this is a good example of a GADA watch. I put it at the end. We'll see how it does in the final runoff. Lume is good on this. It's going to look totally at home on a more like hiking field style strap. Aesthetically, I prefer this over the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. This also says Khaki Automatic. It's confusing how they do their products, but like that Hamilton Khaki Field, you're not going to have a screw-down crown. And that is an Achilles heel of the Hamiltons. It'd be nicer if it was screw-down. And it is a big crown. I know from personal experience, I feel that crown bumping into my hand when I wear Hamilton Khaki Field. It's the same crown here. And if you get any Hamilton, do yourself a favor, just get that bracelet. I know it costs more money. Save up. Just wait a little bit longer. If you're looking at a Hamilton, get that bracelet. It helps so much. The Hamilton on the leather is okay, but it's really not as versatile as having a bracelet. So I highly recommend getting the bracelet. Score of 81. In 28th is the O&W 8001, $2,170, 39.5 millimeters, 12.7. It's an integrated bracelet sport watch. Looking cool. It definitely looks cool. The color is a little bit odd. I mean, I think this kind of a gray-brown, it's going to go with a lot of things. It's going to be versatile, but it does give it kind of a vintage look. This is a chronometer. It says Kosk on the dial right there. 6 o'clock date. That's cool. Let's look at the Lume. Lume with O&Ws it's just not great. I don't get it. This is kind of their signature. They just give you 3 little batons. I don't know what the point of that is. Yeah, it's 10-10. You can tell that. Other times, I think it's a little vague when you're in between these major marks. I don't understand why they couldn't just lume these other ones too. It's something that confuses me about O&W. There's even a little bit of paint on the underside of the date window. Why isn't it loomed? It should have lume there for all 12. That's my opinion. I know it's their thing that they do this. And why do they have dots halfway in between? To mark 2.5 minutes? Like, what is the point of that? But that's what they do. Score of 81. 29th place, the Oak and Oscar Olmsted date. Yeah, make sure. They have a lot of versions. They have no date and they have date. I put the date on here. It scores a little better. It's a cool look. I like the sandwich style here. They have cutouts. So you get some stenciling on these numerals. I like the slash through the 7. That's how I write my 7s, and I think it looks cool. The orange actually looks pretty cool too. Lume looks like a weak spot on this one. You can use this as a field watch. It looks totally fine as a field watch on nylon strap. Then you can also wear it to the office. This is a great example of a GADA watch. Total score of 81. 30th is the Fairer Discovery 2, $995, 39.5 and 10.8 thick. You got some minute Arabics on the outside, a very subtle minute track as well. It comes on the steel mesh bracelet. That is cool. I really do like steel mesh. I think it's a cool look. But you can put it on a nylon strap, and I think it looks good as a field watch. So it does double duty. The lume looks good. Now, this one with the orange, I don't think is going to be lumed here. Maybe only the black version has lume. I'm not sure which one's shown here in the dark, but that's something to be aware of. Yeah, this one says no second lume because it's painted orange. No date complication on this. There's a lot of dial real estate the way they did this. Really cool looking crown. I think there's some copper plate thing on the outside. Probably not copper, but copper colored plate deal. Looks cool. Fairer's a cool brand. A little bit loud for me, typically. A little bit more whimsical. I prefer the watch to be a little more buttoned up so that it works in more scenarios for the GADA watch philosophy. But here you go. Score of 81. 31st is the Certina DS. All this information. $1,046, 41 millimeters across, 10.9 thick. Sunburst dials look cool in product shots, but in the real world, I mean, sometimes they're absolutely gorgeous and sometimes they're not. It's going to change based on your lighting conditions. Very minimal lume on this. It looks off on a field strap. It's too fancy. Everything here on the dial is just a little too fancy to put it on a nylon. I don't think that's a great look. Just probably keep it on the leather and limit your options. Steel mesh might be better. Yeah, this should be on a steel mesh. I should have done steel mesh for the alternate view. Score of 81. 32nd is the Frédéric Constant Runabout. $1,895, 42 millimeters, 12.2 thick. Get your date complication. It says Genève. It's made in Geneva, apparently. Or some of it is. I don't know how that works. It's very loud. It's a very loud color. If your style is more flamboyant, this is probably a good choice. Lume looks great. No complaints with the lume. This is a slightly different version. See, it's got a GMT hand. But I think it's the same lume on this one. It looks okay on a black NATO. But are you taking it on a camping trip or something? Probably not. I mean, you can take any watch anywhere you want to go, but it doesn't fit that look. It doesn't look like a camping watch. I mean, the format of it does, but yeah, the bright blue is sticking out. Score of 81. 33rd is the Mito Multifort TV Big Date. $1,330, 39.2 by 40 is what this is. It's actually taller than it is wide, I believe. And it is 11.5 thick. Big dates are cool. I like that. This texture is really nice with the fume. I like the recessed indices here. That all looks so cool. Did I call it sandwich style? I did. I called it sandwich style. This is a cool looking watch. No question about it. Clearly imitating Patek Philippe. Is it the Aquanaut or the Nautilus? It's looking like a Patek here, even with the brushed bezel like Patek does. It's similar but different. It's what a homage should be. You don't look at it and think it's a Patek. You know that it's not a Patek when you look at it. It has its own design language, but it's heavily inspired by Patek. Lume looks good on this, although no second lume. Can you wear it as a field watch? Sorta. It's not the worst on a nylon strap. Total score of 80. 34th is the Nodus Trail Trekker. $875, 39.5 wide, 11.8 thick. Low everyday looks points, but field vibe is pretty good. It's odd that there aren't military Arabics or standard Arabics or any Arabics on the dial. So that's why it's not higher on the field vibe. Because yes, I agree, it looks very utilitarian. Some of this, what goes into this is what's on the dial. And for a field watch, you want some numbers, typically. You do have that dual time hand. They made it huge. Truncated triangle on the end of it. It looks totally at home in the field. Looks wise, it's great. The vibe is a little bit off though, since it doesn't have the numbers. I guess you have the numbers on the outside, so that kind of saves it vibe wise. but only a little bit. Like I said, 6 out of 10. There's much better field watch options for field vibe. You do get the bracelet extension with that Nodus extension, which is fantastic. I love that. It's also really nice to have a bracelet that matches the case. So I'm glad they did that. Cool look. I'm a fan of Raven and Nodus. Score of 80. 35th is the Seaholm Rover, another Rolex Explorer inspired watch. They changed up the hands. I mean, they changed up a lot. This lume, though, looks a little weird. It's in between faux Tina and just white. It's kind of this like lime greenish color, similar to like what Aragon does. It's kind of weird. You get a little date here, color match date between 4 and 5. Lume looks great though. Whatever lume they're using, it looks great in the dark. That is a highlight. The color looks a little bit weird. And it doesn't match the outside track. Maybe that's what's throwing me off. And like here is white. So that's what's throwing me off. It does look at home on a parachute elastic strap. I think that's a fine choice for this. There's many other suitable choices as well. Total score of 80. And this is the last of the good grade watches. Next, it's just going to be okay grades. Let's keep going. 36th is the Mula Glashütte SAR Rescue Timer, Search and Rescue. They make a few different ones of these. They have the full lume version in white. They have a black one. This blue one is new. It looks so cool. So I added that. The rubber bezel it's just a distinctive feature of this watch. You know, that's to protect it. I don't know how much it actually protects it, but it's a cool look. Makes it look more utilitarian. Lume is fantastic on this watch. Really exceptional lume. I like that the magnifier is underneath the glass. It gives it a sleeker look than when it bubbles up over the top. And so you're going to have a smooth crystal because this is underneath. Oh, it is very thick though, 13.5. That's exceptionally thick, but that's due to the 1,000 meter water resistance. So very deep water resistance rating. The bracelet does not have an extension. But again, I would recommend getting the bracelet if you buy this. I think they sell it on a silicone strap, but I would get the bracelet. Shrouded lug and a screw bar. That's pretty cool. That aids in the protection, which exceeds the allotted points. It's very robust. It is also going to be very heavy. If all this stuff is steel, it's going to be heavy. I'm approximating, 160, 170, something like that. It wasn't on their listing. Total score of 79. 37th place is the Circula Pro Trail bracelet. $1,169, 40 millimeters, 13.4. Very thick. 150 meters water resistance. Yeah, this is as thick as the Mula Glashütte, but Mula Glashütte has 1,000 meters water resistance. So I don't get why this is so thick. It's kind of weird. Anti-magnetic, it has a Faraday cage. It also has case hardening for the steel, which is really nice. They make a lot of really cool colors in this. The black is the most conservative of the choices, but there's some really cool options. The green looks really cool too. Shown on a more outdoorsy strap, it looks totally at home. This is a great hiking watch, and I think it's also suitable for the office. And they did the integrated bracelet look without the integrated bracelet, but they did it a lot better than like that Circula facet. So this looks better. The lines on here make sense. Let's go back to the facet. Yeah, with the facet, it's just looking weird. There's nothing to connect this here. This is funny. It's just off. This one's off. Yeah, the Pro Trail does that a lot better. Lume looks really cool too. You got 2 colors of lume. I really like that. Total score 79. 38th is the DWC, Detroit Watch Company, Pontchartrain. They don't say their name on the dial. That's interesting. Michigan, USA. Very cool. I love that. This is another one where, it's mainly just sophisticated. It's got some like aggressive features here. These lugs do a weird thing. So it does look a little bit utilitarian, but it's mostly just sophisticated. If all you're wearing this to is an office job, it's perfect. It's perfect for that purpose. I think it looks really classy. It's cool to have the D. If you have a connection to Detroit or Michigan, sure, yeah, this is a great option. It's really cool to have that connection. Lume is looking good. None on the second. You can sort of make it like a field watch, but not really. It's a little too fancy. Great thickness though. I mean, the last two watches were 13.5, and this is 9.5, 4 millimeters thinner. You're really going to appreciate that thickness, the thinness of the DWC. That's excellent. Score 79. 39th is the Moules Emerald Forest. I don't know why it's emerald when it's blue, but I think that's just what it says on the website. Could be wrong. $1,150, 39 and 12.3. Again, kind of similar to that Mido, it's kind of a television shape. They've done something interesting here with the indexes where they put them between the markings. And they've kind of taken the sector dial idea and just said, let's do 6 lines that go all the way across. So it's kind of looking like a wheel. The bracelet is so cool. I really like the integrated bracelet on this one. They did it very seamlessly. That's really cool. And the bracelet itself is just kind of a unique look. So I really like that. Loom looks fantastic. The hands, all 3 hands are fully covered in loom. So that's really nice. If you put it on a gray nylon strap, Moles sells an adapter. And that's what I tried to capture here. I mean, their adapter is just this little, it's a couple little ears that connects here. And then you can connect a standard watch strap. It's a little bit funny, but I like that they have that option. That's really nice. And I couldn't find a picture of a watch with this on there, so I had to kind of mock it up. And that's what it looks like when I have this fit to the inside. They stick out a little bit beyond. I don't know if that's totally correct because I just did it in PowerPoint. So it might look better when you see the real thing, their adapter. It's going to look a little bit weird though, no matter what you do. But that's what you get. If you have a really cool integrated bracelet, it's going to look weird when you try to change that out. And that's what's going on here. Very cool option though. Total score of 79. 40th is the Matte Urban OPS XL. $1,163, 42.5 and 13.5 thick. Again, really thick, like dive watch thickness, 200 meters water resistance, very utilitarian case. They kind of filled in here between the lugs. They have a straight line. It's a little bit odd. I could not find a loom shot for this, unfortunately. It looks totally at home on a military kind of a olive drab fabric strap. That looks really cool. It's at home in that side of the spectrum. You know, on the side of the spectrum with the field watches, utilitarian side. Can you wear it to the opera? Nah, no, you're not wearing this thing to the opera. I mean, you can if you want to, do whatever you want. I'm just saying I don't think it's the best sartorial decision. Total score of 79. 41st is the Stella Ellis. $1,285, 41.5, 13.1 thick. Another dual time watch. Very textured dial, too much texture. I don't care for this font for the numbers. I just don't really care for this watch. Looks totally weird on the parachute elastic. Loom looks decent. Score 79. 42nd place, the Longines Force Mega Solar. $1,920, 40.4 millimeters wide, 8.2 thick. It's very thin. It has an atomic quartz movement, so this is going to be very accurate. The 25, I believe, is the date. Yeah, there's a date complication. I think that's what that is. I don't know what the dot is for, though. It just looks strange to me. I don't know what that designates. Maybe it's AM, PM. That would be an additional complication. So, I don't know. I didn't figure it out. They really made the solar panels part of the design, and I think it doesn't look good. This is a weird one. It's a very weird watch. Very thin watch. I'm not going to swap out that strap. I have no idea what the loom's like. It said that these were loomed, so the green paint is loomed on the second and then the numbers. I think it's suitable for the office, not really suitable for your hike. It just sticks out. It doesn't look quite right. Score 79. 43rd place is the Milu Snow Star. 2,190, 39 millimeters across, 9.5. This is an excellent vibe I'm getting. I really like just everything I'm seeing here. I like the roulette date wheel. They say instant date. That's interesting because most watches have a quick set date. They're advertising that here. I really like these indices. I like the italics here for Snowstar. It's looking good. It's just a really good looking watch. Could not find a lume shot. It's okay for the field. It really is fancier though. It's an everyday watch, not a field watch. Apparently there is an extension on that bracelet. So this is a cool one. Score 78. 44th is the Marie Lacroix Acon date. This is one I really like. It's looking similar to the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. I think this actually gets a higher score than the AP Royal Oak, which we'll see later. It does have 100 meters. It has a screw down crown. Yeah, AP Royal Oak, I believe, is 50 with a push-pull. We'll see when we get there, but that probably accounts for the score disparity. Part of the idea with the GADA watch is, even if it doesn't look quite right, the score is supposed to capture, does it have any ruggedness to it? And yes, I think you should have 100 meters, screw down crown, sapphire crystal, those sorts of things is what you want on your GADA watch. So this fits the bill in that regard. They do sell other straps. Another low fidelity image. The product image of the strap is tiny, so it's blown up considerably here. That does dress it down a little bit. I don't even think I would bother though, because it still looks fancy. It's just kind of a fancy watch. Lume is decent. Not going to complain about that. This image is slightly different, so it could be a different version of the Acon. Yeah, very cool watch, and so that's why I included it as a wild card. Wanted to give these integrated ones a chance at the end. They don't do as well. They're not as versatile as having the ability to swap the strap. They look really cool. Total score 78. 45th place, the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic 42. I owned this watch for a few years. I had it on the leather. I wish I'd gotten the bracelet. If I had the bracelet, I probably would not have sold it. I probably would have held on to it, because this is where it shines. It shines on the bracelet, in my opinion. The leather's not bad. It makes sense. It looks kind of piloty. It looks kind of retro on the leather. It just looks so good on the bracelet though. And yeah, I put mine on a black NATO. I tried that. I'm just not a huge NATO fan personally. It just never fit the field aesthetic. It's called the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic, but in my opinion, it just didn't quite fit. There's something off about it. It's hard to describe. I think it's the mirror bezel. It's just not quite all there. The lume actually fades pretty quickly, just from my personal experience. It looks pretty good in this picture. No lume on the second. And yeah, that push-pull crown is a disappointment. The 42 looks weird because this date window is set in. You see the 15 is like pushed in. And I know they'd have to have a totally different movement, but if the date wheel was out, that would look a lot better. Check out my video for the full review. I have a full review of this watch. It is very cool though. This is not the last we'll see the Hamilton Khaki. I know there's no wild card here, but you'll see it. It's in one of the bonus things at the end. So you have that to look forward to. I don't hate the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. I do like it. As I'm talking about it, I'm being inconsistent. I'm contradicting myself. So that's kind of how I feel about the watch. I feel contradicted about it. I like it, but it's not all there. There's something missing. I don't know what it is. Total score of 78. 46th is an interesting one. The Citizen Series 8 831. It's taking that integrated bracelet look, but you can easily swap this out for something else. I like these cuts on the case. There's another one a couple watches down. Yeah, this Nodus. That has a very similar look to the case. It's kind of angles right here. Cool pattern on the dial. I didn't say what size it was. 11.6 thick. That's okay. 40. I think it's going to be a good size. It's going to wear a little larger than a 40 because of all this jazz here near the lugs. Interesting pattern here. Is it a pattern or it's a little bit odd, but it looks really cool. I like it. Semi-random what's going on here. Very interesting. And then tons of lines. The lines are really striking. Lume is not particularly great. You can definitely dress this thing down and it looks okay. Total score of 78. 47th place, the Raymond Weil Freelancer. $1,895, 42 across, 10.5. Good size. It's looking a bit like a fashion watch to me. Yeah, you try to put it on a field type strap, it doesn't quite look right. Lume is not that great. It's just kind of a basic watch. It has a Jubilee style bracelet, 5 link. That's one of the things that makes it more fancy. There it is, score 78. 48th place is the Nodus Audace or Audace. $950, 39 somewhere. I didn't give it like a... I probably should have measured from here to here too. It's a big piece of metal. Even though it's maybe only 39 across, it's a lot of real estate on your wrist here is what it looks like. They do offer leather strap options like this. I suppose it'd be possible to get a strap and cut your strap, and maybe you could do an alternate strap with this. I don't know. But they do offer several colors of leather strap. Here's the lume. They had to write Super Luminova. It's the only picture I could find. Not that all that impressive. It's cool that their little logo here, the square root symbol or whatever that is, that looks pretty cool. Total score is 78. 49th is the Alpina 4 Auto, $1,600, 40 millimeters across, 12.5 thick, black date window, a lot of horizontal lines. It's a cool color. I do like the red here. Gives it a little bit more of a rough look, kind of breaks up the sophistication. Lume looks okay. It's on a nylon strap here. Looks okay. It's a good GADA watch. Score 78. 50th place, the Bravoure Geography. $1,575, 39 millimeters, 10.5 thick. No minute marks. That's too bad. Swedish Soul, Swiss Heart. The dial doesn't usually tell you if it has a Swiss movement. They've managed to put that on the dial because they can't say it's Swiss made. It's really more of a dress watch. Not really a GADA watch, but you can use it as that. Could not find a lume shot. It looks kind of weird on a parachute elastic strap. Suppose you could try it. Score 78. 51st place, the Stella Breslin, $1,085, 40 millimeters, 12.7 thick. Circular date cutout. Kind of a fabric looking dial here. Little bullet indexes. Those are interesting. Stellas are just not for me. It's not my bag, baby. Let's look at the alternate strap. Doesn't make any sense. Lume shot. Could not find a lume shot. Total score 78. 52nd place is the Victorinox Inox Mechanical. $1,150. 43 millimeters, 14 thick. This is a very rugged watch. They run them over with tanks and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely on the more utilitarian side, but it looks sophisticated too. So this is a good example of a GADA watch. Lume looks pretty good. It looks great on a field strap. It's a fieldy kind of watch. Yeah, I think they did a good job here. Very thick crown guards. And they kind of go over it too. I mean, I love the look of this. I love these cuts here. 6 cuts into the bezel. Looks really nice. It's a cool option. Score 77. 53rd is the Leico Bremerhaven. $2,050, 42.5 cross, only 11 thick. It's looking kind of fancy. Lume looks great. I love that they lume the second hand. That's cool on a small seconds. It looks at home on a nylon strap, actually. It actually dresses down pretty well. Yeah, this is a cool option. No bracelet though. Yeah, the default strap option is kind of formal. You could dress it down. It would have been nice if there was a bracelet though. Score 77. 54th place is the Nevada Super Antarctic. $1,095, 38 across, 12 thick. Another Rolex inspired watch. It's very similar hands even to the Rolex. Similar numerals to that original Rolex. Lume looks decent. It's going to look great on a more field type strap like this parachute elastic. No date on this, unfortunately. It's got a lot of vintage charm though. If you go for the vintage thing, you probably want to consider the Nevada. Score 77. In 55th place is the Maine Manhattan 37, $896, 37 by 37.6, and it is 9.3 thick. Very thin watch. I like how they did the integrated bracelet here. That looks really cool. It is kind of Patek Philippe inspired here, kind of Nautilus inspired. I think the Nautilus goes horizontal. This one goes vertical. So it's really hitting a lot of the elements. Empire State Building style hands here with the shoulders. That's kind of cool. Loom looks decent. The strap is unchangeable. That's one major downside to the main. Just got to keep it on that bracelet. It's still going to be suitable for almost everything, just not good for hiking. Not good for the field, really. Score of 76. 56th place is the Lorenzo DRZ07 date. You can see that date, circular date window. 887 bucks, 37 and a half, and 11 thick. It's a smaller one, but I think it's a good size for a lot of guys. 100 meter screw down crown, that's great. It is a Jubilee bracelet, but they do have an extension on it, so that's appreciated. Loom is decent, none at the 6 o'clock though. It looks good on this nylon strap. Cool option. Score 76. In 57th place, the Praesitas DD45 Patina. 875 bucks, 38 millimeters, 11.8. It's a military watch. It's not really GADA. I dressed it down. I probably should have put it on the steel mesh to dress it up. Maybe it could work for GADA. Not really though. Loom is fantastic. That's a highlight for sure. It's a cool watch. Just more of like a traditional field watch rather than GADA. Score 76. In 58th place, the Tissot Heritage 1938. 850 bucks, 39 millimeters, 11.1 thick. This is a major downside though. 50 meters push-pull crown. Not good. Yeah, that's not ideal. I could not find a loom shot. You could dress it up maybe with a steel mesh. Score 76. 59th, I really debated including this at all. The Rec X 4009, 2,395 bucks, 41 and a half across, 13.6 thick. It's thick. It's really more of kind of a piloty watch. I thought it could be GADA. It kind of looks like a field watch. It really didn't do well as a modern field watch or as a traditional field watch. It doesn't really do that great as a GADA watch either. I think it's just a pilot watch. Sorry about that. On a bracelet though, that kind of changes the story. That changes the story a little bit. It's making the argument for GADA a little better on this bracelet. Loom is okay. Total score 76. 60th place is the Pittsman 2. 1,199 bucks. 40 millimeters across, 10.8 thick. No date on this thing. And push-pull crown is unfortunate. I prefer to see screw down. It actually looks pretty cool on a gray parachute elastic strap. I mean, it looks the part. It definitely looks the part. But no date. Score 75. 61st place is the Tipsim Guide. 1,199 bucks. Only 36 millimeters. 11.3 thick. Just like that original Rolex Explorer. I really do actually like a 36 millimeter watch. I mean, I think I have a 34 on right now. It's looking diminutive, but 36 is fine. I have a 7¼ inch wrist, so it's fine. You can wear a 34, you can wear a 36. I think that'll be okay. But does it capture the GADA aesthetic? I think it does. I think it hits both. It looks good every day. It looks good like a field vibe. I think they threaded the needle there. The picture's pretty poor. It's the only loom shot I could find. Yeah, they loomed the little pill at 12 o'clock. The bright yellow is fun. I really do like this one. It was in my top 5 smaller field watches in the traditional field watch video. It has decent specs and it looks pretty cool. It is kind of expensive though. For Tipsim. Total score 75. Y'all would be upset if I didn't include this one, the Hamilton Khaki Field King Auto. On the bracelet. Get the bracelet. Don't get a Hamilton without getting the bracelet. You will be sad if you make that mistake like I did. This one's $896, 40 across, 11.5. They're nice and thin. Hamilton makes a thin watch, which is appreciated. You get a day date. That's pretty cool. Military Airbex hold it back as a GADA watch. And it's only 50 meters water resistance with a push-pull crown. It's kind of strange. I really don't get why Hamilton doesn't screw down the crowns. The loom looks good. It looks great on a nylon strap. It looks at home. It'll look at home in the field. And it'll look at home on your semi-formal things too with this bracelet. Total score is 75. 63rd is the Studio Underdog Series 2. $950, 37 millimeters across, 12 thick. And yeah, designed in Great Britain. These use these use a Seagull manual winding movement, I believe. Oh no, it says hand wind Swiss. Never mind. No, this is Swiss movement. That's good. I it's at a point or something. I actually think it looks really good on the steel mesh. I think that's a viable option for this one. Steel mesh doesn't work with everything, but I think it works well for this one. The loom looks really good. Their loom is outstanding. They have full loom versions of this. The pink, blue, and white are all different kinds of full loom, but I think the black is the most traditional, so that's what I put up. There's no date, of course. Yeah, this is a sweet watch. And it can kind of do double duty as a GADA and a field watch. Not really excelling at either one all that much. You know, we're at a C grade here. It can do it. Score 75. In 64th place, the William Wood Fearless. $1,212, 39 across, 14 thick. It's supposed to be a firefighter watch, but a push-pull crown. It doesn't make sense. For a GADA watch, it's not a huge difference. Screw down versus push-pull is just 2 points. For traditional field watch, it is a huge difference. It's a much bigger difference on that scoring system. The screw down is really important for traditional field watch. Loom. Oh, this is for a different model. Yeah, that's not the right shot. Sorry about that. I don't think I could find it. But it gives you an idea about the hands, because these are the same hand set, but the dial has a different thing going on here. Comes on this fire hose rubber strap. If you want to dress it up, you could put it on PVD steel mesh bracelet. That dresses it up a little. It's not semi-formal, it's just straight utilitarian. I don't know, it's a little bit nice. It's a little bit nice looking. And you can get different colors for these chapter ring. Total score is 75. 65th is the Unimatic U4S-C-H Carbon. Unimatic makes a lot of watches. This one is very unique. I like the gray dial. The case looks so cool. This how they did the forged carbon, how it's all swirly. The actual shape of the case is really appealing to me. Beefy lugs, but it's rounded here. I really like how that looks. It's got a lot of water resistance. It's dive watch inspired for sure. And you can dress it up maybe on a leather. Maybe you could dress it up. Was I just throwing spaghetti at the wall? No, the thing I did is, so I scored all these watches on the spreadsheet, and then I saw how they scored under the different scoring systems. And I think this does best as a GADA watch because it doesn't have any Arabic numerals. So I was like, oh, I guess it's a GADA watch. And so I put it in this video. But it's not really excelling. It's hard to say what type of watch this is. You can use it as a GADA watch. You know, I recommend it for that purpose. You know, you can't take it to the opera, but it looks decent. It looks decent here. Total score 75. 66th is the Bamford B80. $1,020, 39 across, 10.5 thick. It is so plain looking. I really don't get the appeal of this one. It can definitely serve as a field watch if you swap that strap out. I think that looks pretty cool. Loom is befuddling. Is there loom on the hands? It's really hard to tell from this weird render they did. I'm not really sure what's loomed and what isn't. It's for a different color scheme. See, they've got like orange hands or something. That's all I could find for a loom shot. Push-pull crown. It is a titanium case, which aesthetically is not quite as pleasing as the steel. Total score 75. 67th is the Nevada F77, which I did not know about until, actually, I finalized the scorecards. This was the last watch I added. 373 turned into 374 with this one watch. It just popped up somewhere and I was like, oh, I should put that in the video. But what is the lug system here? It looks so strange. I really don't like what I'm seeing here. If you're going to do integrated bracelet, why is there this extra thing here? Just have your case go to the middle link. You don't need this other weird spacer that's not a full spacing anyway. Like, you're not going to take this out and put a strap on there. That would look bizarre. So I don't know what they're doing here with this extra cutout. Everything else about the watch is really cool. The basket weave, you know, this little screws around here. It's kind of Audemars Piguet inspired. It's definitely Audemars Piguet Royal Oak inspired. All right, let's take a look at the loom. Loom is horrible. Very poor loom. they do sell other straps. So here's the other kind of straps you can have. It looks kind of weird. It looks kind of weird, and I don't get it. Really don't get why they did it the way they did. That's what they did. Score 74. 68th place, the Nevada Grenchen Antarctic. We saw the Super Antarctic. Here's the regular Antarctic. I like this look a lot better. These applied indexes look better to me. Yeah, this is looking rough. The Super Antarctic is looking rough. It gets a higher score though. It has better specs, apparently. But I do like the looks of this. The lugs are interesting, how they angle inward. I don't know how that's going to look with the strap. Let's go down. Yeah, it looks like there's just big gaps. I showed it, my mock-up here is with a pass-through. It looks cool, actually. It really looks cool with that second matching the blue. I think that's a good look for it. That's a cool option. But only 50 meters push-pull. You shouldn't be doing that on a sports watch. Dress watch, yes, but this is not really a dress watch. I mean, specs-wise, it sort of is with the 50 and the push-pull. There it is. Cool option. Score 74. 69th place is the Ball Trainmaster Standard Time. 2,143, 39.5 millimeters wide, 10.3 thick. It's not the one with all the numbers. That one is so cool. The 30th anniversary or whatever. This one's cool though. You get these little circular tritium indices. Look at that loom. It's cool loom. I don't know why they're shining a blue light on it, but it's got good loom. So the tritium never dies. I mean, it dies after 15 years, but otherwise the tritium never dies. Looks cool on a black NATO strap. I think that's suitable. The black leather is not great, but it does match the aesthetic. If you're like trying to be a train conductor, it matches the era of train conductors. And I like how they put Ball here on the 7, similar to what Cartier does with the Santos. Total score 74. 70th place is the Olek and Voss OWM110, $1,575. Almost 40 wide, 12.5 thick. Traditional size there. But it has 300 meters water resistance. So it's much more robust than most of the watches in this video. It's a cool color scheme. And it actually looks decent on a steel mesh. I think that's an option. That would look nice. The loom is good on this too. A lot of O&Ws just have the quadrants. This has loom on everything. So that's a good way to go. It even has loom on the second. So that's really nice. Score 74. 71st place. We're getting to the end of the passing grades. The Union Belisar GMT. $2,217, 41 across, 11.5. It's a dual time. They call it GMT. It's not. It's a dual time watch. Ooh, Zeitzone. Yeah, second zone. Okay, these guys get it. At least what they put on the dial is correct. Shown here on a steel mesh is the alternate strap option. It's a distinctive color. You don't see a lot of watches this color, so that's cool. Score 74. This is a cool option I didn't know about before the video. The Movado Bold Quest. $995, 39 millimeters in diameter and 8.4 thick. Very thin. It's kind of a cool Tissot PRX alternative, actually. Something a little different. I do like how Movado just has a big circle at the 12. You can tell it's a Movado. That's a design feature that they're pretty darn consistent about. There's another one on the page that doesn't have the circle, but yeah, if you're getting a Movado, get the circle. I think that's the way to go. That strap is unchangeable, and I could not find a loom shot, so buy at your own risk there. But otherwise, pretty darn cool watch. Score of 73. 73rd place is the Axia Time Diasmos. It says Heisman on the front, and they got a guy playing football. Roman numerals are cool. I'm glad to see some Roman numerals. I know it's typically only on dress watches, but I think it looks good. I think Roman numerals are really cool. I like this bezel. It's not really coin edge, is it? Or maybe it's like pie pan or something. It's cool though. I guess we can call it coin edge bezel. For alternate strap options, this is going to be tough because of the gold. I show it here on a black NATO, but this is going to bother. This would bother me to have, gold PVD steel with naked steel. That would drive me absolutely nuts. And the problem with gold PVD is everybody has a slightly different color, so there's no way you're going to match that. This actually is not that great of an alternative strap option. And there is no loom on this watch whatsoever. She'll score 73. 74th place, the Serica 6190 MSL. $1,230, 38, 10.4. Serica has a strong following. People absolutely love them. I think the size is a big part of it. 38 is a pleasing size for a lot of guys. I do like smaller watches. They are. It's something about like a watch collecting journey. I do enjoy large watches, but a smaller watch does feel better. Loom is good. It looks at home on a nylon strap, so I think it's suitable for your hiking needs. The Bond clip bracelet is kind of quirky, so yeah, that's a good option. If you want something different, this is definitely different, and it looks cool. Score 73. And there's that other Movado in 75th place, the Movado Datron. $895, 39 across, 9.5 thick. Very plain dial. Not much to get excited about here. I don't know if this is a color match or if it's a black date wheel, but either way, it looks better than a white one would look. I could not find a loom shot for this Movado. On a black NATO, it looks totally at home. I think that's a good option if you want to dress it down. So score 73. The first one I don't recommend, the Eterna Heritage Military Reedition. It does have that date window. Yeah, the PVD definitely holds it back. When we're talking about maximum versatility, PVD is not as versatile as naked steel. It's just not. So naked steel is pretty much always a better option for a GADA watch, in my opinion. 77th is the Strom Jan Mayuen. $1,700, 38.7 across, 11.5 thick. Beautiful case. I love how they integrated the bracelet. It's looking really good. The dial is unbelievably cool. So this is a really special watch, no question about that. It's just when you factor in all the different things about it, just didn't make the cut. Score 72, not recommended. In 78th place is the Hanhart Preventer 9. $1,480, 40 millimeters across, and 12.5 thick. This is one of these ones that it wasn't in the original Field Watch video, and it's one of the first ones I was like, yeah, it should be. I don't know how I missed it, but here it is. It's barely scraping in as a GADA watch. It's on this fancy black leather. I recommend it if you swap the strap to something else. I mean, maybe it would work on a PVD steel mesh bracelet. That's the challenge with the PVD case, yeah. It's cool that it has the small seconds here. Really like the Arabics, just a simple design. The loom looks really good on the white version here. Oh, and that's a naked steel. Yeah, maybe this is one you get on the naked steel, not PVD steel. I think that would be better for a GADA watch. But it totally looks at home for the field. Just maybe not so great for everyday looks. Score 71. 79th is the Bravour BW003. $1,350, 39 millimeters, 10.8. It's cool how the bezel has like knurling on the outside. I don't know what it's for. It says on it Swedish Soul Swiss Heart. It's got a Swiss movement, good thickness. Couldn't find a loom shot. Looks okay on a nylon strap, but it doesn't really match. It's a little too fancy. Score 71. 80th place, the Eterna 1948 Legacy Automatic. $1,500, 41.5 across, 12.4 thick. It's just kind of plain. It's not really doing it for me. And it's 50 meters push-pull. Not particularly great. I don't recommend it. Score 71. 81st place is the Raymond Weil Milsim. $1,575, 39.5 millimeters in diameter, 11 thick. Again, 50 meters push-pull. Not a huge penalty, so other things are holding it back. Really doesn't have any field vibe. You know, it's really just kind of department store style watch. It'll look good at a wedding, anything semi-formal. Doesn't really fit a casual thing. Not very casual. Score 70. 82nd is the Shinola Mechanic 39. This is actually a hand-winding watch, which is pretty cool. I do like this weird bracelet it's on. The shape is really interesting. It's a little bit Panerai inspired. It's only 39 millimeters though, so, you know, it's not a Panerai. Just didn't cut the mustard. Score 70. 83rd place is the Glycine BN 1914. You've got this PVD gold colored case. It It's looking very classy. It really just looks like a dress watch. Say recommend a strap swap. You could put it on silicone. Yeah, different color cases. You can find silicone straps that work in a lot of scenarios. I think that's the way to go if you want to dress it down. I show it here on a pass-through strap. That looks super weird. I don't think that's a good idea. And there is no loom. There's no loom shot, but there's also no loom with this. Score 70. 84th is the Ferrer Hopewell Resolute 2. $995, 39.5 in diameter, 10.8 thick. Yeah, Ferrer just isn't my jam. There's too many colors. It looks like yellow, blue, and red. It's too much. I hate to say it because I'm sure people love these, but it just hurts my eyes looking at this thing. I can't stand all the colors. And there's the pale blue too. It's way too many colors. Yeah, they need to tone it down. Just do a couple colors. 2 colors, and that's enough. Score 70. 85th place is the Titoni Cosmo. Only 33.5 millimeters in diameter. Yeah, I mentioned that was the smallest size. Well, here you go. Here's the smallest. It must be for a woman. It says Cosmo on it. It looks really cool, though. I love this bezel. If this was a man's size, I mean, even if it was like a 37 or something, I would go for this. Style-wise, it looks really cool. I do like their little flower here. Doesn't pass the class. Score 69. 86th place is the Rado Golden Horse. $2,000, 37 and 10.8. It's a dainty watch. It's kind of a dress watch or maybe a business watch. Not recommended. Score 69. And the plainest watch you've ever seen in your life, the Mudita Element. $1,000. Titanium case. No second hand on it. Very plain. No branding at all. It's the plainest darn watch you've ever seen. If you love the clock on your wall that costs $5 and you want that on your wrist, the identical clock to what you have in your kitchen, here you go. You can get just like the clock in your kitchen. Score 69. 88th place is the Makina Mephisto 3 GMT. $850, 38 millimeters, 11.6. The integrated bracelet looks so cool. The dial looks amazing. You have a dual time hand. It's a very cool watch, very distinctive, 3-dimensional aspects to this. It looks so cool. Even how they put their name here. There's so many things I could try to describe. I won't hurt my brain trying to come up with terminology for the different features I'm seeing here. It's very cool, but doesn't pass my threshold. Score 68. 89th is the Delma Classic. $1,200, 40 millimeters, and 11.5 thick. It looks very plain. It looks like a department store watch. The bracelet looks low quality to me. Yeah, I'd skip this one. Score 67. 90th place. 6 more to go after this one. Raqueta Big Zero. $1,820, 40 millimeters, 14.1. Yeah, so it's thick. They make their own movements, Raqueta does. I actually own a Raqueta watch. It's a Franken watch I got on eBay. I didn't know it was a Franken watch when I got it, but their watches are way overpriced. I do not understand why this Russian brand is so expensive. Yeah, it does not score well. Score 65. 91st place, the West End Watch Co. Sowar, 1916. This is the original Field Watch video. It did poorly in that video. It does poorly in this video. Not recommended. 92nd is the E. Stolman the Earl. They have got a rainbow thing going on here. No purple, though. You have some pink. I don't care for rainbow on my watch. I don't really want rainbow on anything I'm going to wear. Rainbows are cool to look at, and the rainbow is a symbol of the Noahic covenant between God and the entire world, never to flood it again. That's wonderful. But I don't want it on my clothing or accessories. The strap looks like beef jerky. Okay. Score 65. 93rd is the Awake Sun Mai. I don't know how to pronounce the O with the curly thing. Beautiful watch. It looks really cool. Probably a great dress watch. Not necessarily a great GADA watch. Not going to take it on a hike. That'd be weird. Score 64. 94th is the Elka X Heroes. $1,820, 41 across and 11 thick. I love the little bird there. That is so cool. I love the double zeros at the top. It's sort of like a type B here with just the minutes marked, no hours. It's like a simplified type B Flieger. Color match date. It's looking really cool, but it's only 30 meters water resistance. Push-pull crown. It looks like it should just be a regular field watch, but it's not. It's wimpy as all get out. Score 64. 95th place is the Longines Heritage Military. Very expensive, $2,425, and it's very plain, and it's very wimpy. 30 meters push-pull crown. I don't understand it. It has the word military on it. I railed against them in the original Field Watch series. I just don't get it. They're behind the times. Nobody wants this anymore. Just beef up your watches. So it's not for me. I mean, you can wear it. It's not really dressy or casual. Somehow it's neither one. Very odd. If you like this look, just get a vintage watch. That's my recommendation. You don't have to spend $2,400. Get a restored vintage watch. I think that'll be a lot cheaper than this Longines Heritage Military. Score 64. And the last one in the video, the Accutron Legacy Automatic Railroad Zero. The zero at the top. I love the zero at the top. I love how they did the dial. This is even cool here with the negative displayed date. Just doesn't pass my scoring system. Very niche watch. Small. 34 is going to be so small on most men's wrists. But there's a place for small watches. It's not a great GADA watch. Score 60. And now for the top 5 in the premium price category. Alright, in 5th place we have the Wolf Creek North Star. $1,275, 38 millimeters across, and 12 thick. I like the Wolf, that looks pretty cool. It's a unique design here. Kind of a cushiony case deal going on. Lume does not look particularly fantastic. It might just be a poor lume shot. They might, maybe they just didn't charge it up very well. But it's not impressive from this shot here. It looks totally suitable for the field. And on the bracelet, I mean, it's leaning more on the field side. It's not particularly sophisticated, but I think it is a good all-rounder. You could use it for that. I like the color match date at 4:30. That looks cool. It'd be nicer if it was at 6 o'clock. How hard would that have been? That would have been better. To each their own. Yeah, decent watch. It's my 5th place. Score of 87. In 4th place is the Christopher Ward C65 Sandhurst Series 2 W10. $1,095, great price. Well, out of my price range, but in this price category, that's on the lower end. 38 millimeters, great size, 11.9 thick, excellent. Get your screw down crown. They actually have some sort of anti-shock suspension system or buffer system mount inside that helps it resist shock. And it's a chronometer. That is awesome. Yeah, that Wolf was not a chronometer, but this one is. So that's definitely worth something. And this is actually cheaper than the Wolf Creek. The lume is good on this, although there's none on the second. It will look totally at home on a parachute elastic strap or some other hiking style strap. The bracelet apparently does have an extension on the clasp, so that's really nice. Yeah, I gave it really high everyday looks and high field vibe. I think it does both really well. It's a really classy one to add to the collection. Very balanced, very simple. I like the dagger hour hand. They made it their own. They did a good job here. Score of 90. The venerable Sinn 556A is the 3rd place bronze medal, like in the Olympics. The metal of the watch is made of steel. Unlike some other Sinns, it's not tegimented steel. $1,830, 38.5 wide and 11 thick. That's a good size. I think that's one of the reasons for the Sinn 556A's popularity is that size there. And the one on the screen is the RS, the red seconds. The standard Sinn 556A just has a white second hand. I think this is a little cooler. You also get a 4:30 date on this one. 200 meters water resistance. And you've got some resistance to magnetism here. That's good. Bracelet extension, apparently. Lume looks good, although none on the second hand. That's one reason why you get the red, because if you don't have lume on it, you may as well go for red. It looks good on this black NATO strap. I think it would look good on a tan NATO strap. It would look great on all sorts of different styles of straps. Very versatile watch. And even though it does have kind of a military, kind of a piloty look to it, I still think it's suitable for a lot of scenarios. It's a good GADA watch for sure. Total score is 91. Second place is the Ball Engineer 3 Ohio Chronometer. $2,249, 40 millimeters, and 12.5 thick. And yes, it's a chronometer. That's awesome. And you see 1000 Gauss here. It has a Faraday cage. So that's very good. High resistance to magnetism. It's made with 904L stainless steel, which is really nice. It's superior to 316L in multiple ways. And the other thing that Ball likes to do is these tritium indices. So these will glow for 15 years. You never charge them up. I guess after the 15 years, you get them replaced by Ball or something. I don't know how that works, but that is really cool. It looks totally at home with a field strap, and you can totally wear it to a wedding. It does both, and Ball is so good at this. Yeah, Ball is just great at having a sophisticated looking watch that is also really rugged. And they do bracelets. Ball really loves their bracelets. You know, they make pretty looking bracelets too. This is a solid GADA watch. Total score of 91. All right, what's in the first place? What beats the Ball? Actually, the Ball is my pick. If I could have any of these watches in this price range, it would be the Ball for sure. All right, first place is the Archimede Outdoor Anti-Mag Tie. $1,272, 41 millimeters across, 11.2 thick. That's all it is. Nice thin watch here. It's a titanium case and bracelet. It has case hardening. It has a Faraday cage just like that Ball did, but it's titanium. That's going to be so much nicer. Yeah, maybe around 100 grams. I have to approximate because they don't list the weight on the website. And they do offer it with this NATO strap as well. I would go for the bracelet, and hopefully the NATO strap comes with it as a secondary strap. The lume looks fantastic. Full lume on the seconds, very bright. All the indexes are lumed, and they're big chunks. And then all the Arabics are lumed as well. That's fantastic. Yeah, and only $1,200. They offer a lot of value for the price. That's for sure. I would have liked to see this color matched. I think it would look better with a color matched date. Total score of 94. So those are all the watches in the premium price range. The next video is going to come out in a week on July 10th, and that'll be luxury, the luxury price range. That's where you're going to see things like the Rolex Explorer, Tudor Ranger, the big boys. Looking forward to that. All the ones over $2,500. So that's the end of the watch content. If you watch my channel, you know I have the final segment. I talk about a passage in the Bible. And today we're on the final fruit of the Spirit. So check that out now. All right, Bible time. My favorite time of the video. I always have to say I'm not a pastor or a biblical scholar. I don't have any authority. I just like sharing the Bible. And today I'm continuing our exploration of the Galatians 5 fruits of the Spirit with the last fruit, self-control. Final message in this series from Galatians 5:22 is, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires." The Greek word is Strong's 1466, ekratia, self-control, temperance. King James actually uses temperance in Galatians 5:23. The word derives from en, in the sphere of, and kratos, dominion, mastery, power. In the Christian context, it's about mastery over one's desires and mastery over your actions, what you do. Kratos is raw power, but ekratia is power over ourselves, self-control. And even though it's called self-control, you'll see it doesn't come from our own internal power. In addition to the Galatians 5 passage with this Greek word, here are a couple others. Acts 24, verse 25. As Paul talked about righteousness, self-control, and the judgment to come, Felix was afraid and said, "That's enough for now. You may leave. When I find it convenient, I will send for you." People don't want to be told they need to live righteously and with self-control, and that there's judgment to come. The other passage is 2 Peter 1, verses 5 through 7. "For this very reason, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control, and to self-control perseverance, and to perseverance godliness, and to godliness, mutual affection, and to mutual affection, love. That's interesting. He's kind of building on these different concepts. Goodness going to knowledge, knowledge going to self-control, etc. The mutual affection and the love comes out of these other things. That's very interesting. And on the topic of self-control, James describes the tongue as a bit in the horse's mouth, and also as a rudder that can steer a ship. A very small thing that can make huge differences in the course of our lives. So the mastery over tongue is vital to self-control. The passage is in James 3, verses 5 through 6. Likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue is also a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. Yeah, I mean, once you say something, once I say something, can't take those words back. You can try to reframe it, but the damage is done. And that tongue can move so quickly, can say bad things, and set off a forest fire in our lives. Self-control is very important. I'm not saying I have great self-control. I'm just saying it's important to avoid bad things happening in one's life. Proverbs 21, verse 23 says, "Those who guard their mouths and their tongues keep themselves from calamity." It's very wise to have control over one's tongue. But anyway, I have a 3-point outline on self-control, and here it is. Point 1 is the power of God. We're talking about kratos, the power of God. Second is access to power. So we can access the power of God. And then 3 is the power within. We should use that power to master our sin. All right, I'll start off with point number 1, power of God. 1 Peter 4, verse 11. If anyone speaks, they should do so as one who speaks the very words of God. If anyone serves, they should do so with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. To him be the glory and the power forever and ever. Amen. Power comes from God. It is important to recognize that in our lives. To him be the glory and the power. And that's the Greek word kratos. Jesus has dominion and power, the strength that God provides. Second verse, Revelation 5:13. Then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under earth and on the sea, and all that is in them, saying, To him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be praise and honor and glory and power forever and ever. The world will declare the power of God. The power of God's there now, the world. All of creation understands this. To the Lamb, to Jesus, be praise and honor and glory and power forever and ever. And that's, again, that power is kratos. My point is that God has the power. To him be the praise and honor and glory and power. Okay, point number 2. Access to power. Something that we have the ability to access. And here's some verses that support that. Romans 6, verses 12 through 14. Therefore, do not let sin reign in your body. And anytime there's a therefore, there's important context before it. But therefore, do not let sin reign in your mortal body so that you obey its evil desires. Do not offer any part of yourselves to sin as an instrument of wickedness, but rather offer yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and offer every part of yourself to him as an instrument of righteousness. For sin shall no longer be your master, because you are not under the law but under grace. Sin shall no longer be our master. We can, if we turn our lives to God, we can have access to a power greater than our sin. Jesus defeated sin, and we've been brought from death to life. Another passage, Hebrews 12, verses 1 through 2. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith, author and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Okay, so the point of this one is we have access to Jesus, who is the perfecter of our faith. You have that small mustard seed of faith at first. Jesus will perfect our faith. He gives us the power to overcome sin. 2 Timothy 1, verse 7. And I don't mean like you become without sin. That's not going to happen. Jesus gives us the power to face our sin and to have victories, significant victories over strongholds in our lives. 2 Timothy 1, verse 7. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. Self-discipline. That's not ekroiteia. It's the same kind of idea that there's power. The Spirit of God has power available to us. We have access to the power we need for self-discipline. Another translation says sound mind instead of self-discipline. That power comes from the Spirit God gave us. Romans 8, verse 12 through 13. This is the last verse on this point. Therefore, brothers and sisters, we have an obligation, but it is not to the flesh to live according to it. For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the misdeeds of the body, you will live. We have access to that Spirit. That's what all this point was about. It's there. The Bible's telling us if you do it by the Spirit, you can put to death the misdeeds of your body and live. And we can choose to access that power. There are a lot of Bible verses today. There are many more coming up. The last point is power within. And this point I'm trying to make with this final point is that we should. Last one is we can access the power. This last one is we should put the power to use over our sin. And I have 6 verses just on this. So buckle up. Galatians 5, 24 through 25. So right after the fruits of the Spirit one, those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. You should use that power. Let us not become conceited, provoking, and envying each other. Next is Romans 6, verse 6 through 7. For we know that our old self was crucified with him so that the body ruled by sin might be done away with, that we should no longer be slaves to sin. Because anyone who has died has been set free from sin. We should die to self and be set free from our sin. We should put that power to use. Colossians 3, verse 5 through 8. Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. Because of these things, the wrath of God is coming. You used to walk in these ways in the life you once lived, but now you must also rid yourselves of all such things as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips. We should die to self. We should surrender our sins to God and access that power. Titus 1, verse 7 through 8. And this is describing the qualifications of an elder. For a bishop must be blameless as a steward of God, not self-willed, not quick-tempered, not given to wine, not violent, not greedy for money, but hospitable, a lover of what is good, sober-minded, just, holy, self-controlled. And that's the self-controlled here is actually Strong's 1468. I think this is the only use of it in the New Testament, enkrates. And it's very closely related to ekrateia. Instead of self-control as a verb, this is self-controlled as an attribute that one has. But it's the same root word. And in this passage, it's saying we should do this. Galatians 5 is sort of saying it's a fruit of the Spirit. If you walk in the Spirit, you'll see these fruits expressed in your lives, such as self-control. 2 more passages. Titus 2, verses 11 through 12. For the grace of God that brings salvation has appeared to all men, teaching us that, denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in the present age, looking for the blessed hope and glorious appearing of our great God and Savior, Jesus Christ, who gave himself for us that he might redeem us from every lawless deed and purify for himself his own special people, zealous for good works. Jesus redeems us from our lawless deeds. The power comes from Jesus, and as this passage says, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly. We should access that power for self-control. Living soberly, righteously, and godly involves submission to Jesus. It involves taking in that power and using it for self-control. Last passage, Galatians 5, 16, 18. So right before the fruits of the Spirit. So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. That's perhaps the biggest passage of all on this topic, that there is power in the Spirit, and if we walk by the Spirit, we will not gratify the desires of the flesh. If that's not self-control, I don't know what is. That's a great description. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They're in conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want. That sounds a lot like self-control too. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. And as I pointed out at the beginning, self-control is slightly problematic translation of this concept because self implies that I'm doing it myself. All the passages I read talk about the power coming from God, walking by the Spirit, walking together. It's not something we do alone. We don't get self-control by just asserting our raw will. Walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. There are many more passages on our sin struggles, and the Bible calls us to live with self-control. It's a very, very biblical, very Christian message. To have mastery over our sin, mastery over our desires. Because we don't just sin with our bodies, we sin with our mind, we sin with our tongue. Jesus gives us the power to do so. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. And that's been my experience depending on the sin. Some go away easily and some do not. But through Jesus, we can achieve that temperance, self-control that Galatians 5 mentioned. Ekroiteia. Am I saying this right? Ekroiteia. Sorry about my Greek. I don't speak Greek, so phonetically it's pronounced ekroiteia. I believe. That's what it says in the study Bible. But anyway, that was the final fruit of the Spirit. And I don't know what's going to come next, but I have to figure out before the next video comes out in a week. I'm looking forward to it, though. It's going to be fun. Probably page through my notes and see if there's any interesting passage that I studied in the past. I'm looking forward to it. And now for a prayer. Lord, thank you for this study through the fruits of the Spirit. We know that if we walk by the Spirit, we will not fulfill the desires of the flesh. I thank you for the fruit that has been born in my life. And I pray for everyone who has watched this that they will have abundant fruit of the Spirit as well. Please give us all a spirit of self-control. Give us that extra moment when we want to react to something, just to change and to do your will instead of our will. And thy will be done in everything. I pray all this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace always and in every way. The Lord be with you all. See you next time.